Hello everybody, kia ora, and welcome to this video. This is my first update in nearly 2 months, and I'm going to explain why that is, why I've left it for this long time. My name is Fiona of Sun and Moon Calendar, and it is springtime here in England. Yes, I live in New Zealand's Aotearoa and I make calendars for New Zealand and Australia, but right now I'm in England. So what happened is I am on a 5.5 month tour with my partner in a van exploring England and Europe. And just before we left, I was going to organise a way to record videos on the trip and also do a last update to let you know there might be a little gap, not a 2 month gap. And in the last weekend we had a major family event happen that was intense and sad, and I wasn't able to get organised to do any videos, and then I haven't had any equipment that was going to work, and then I bumped into somebody who said just do it on your phone, and so I'm trying that. So hopefully the sound quality is all right. I have actually ordered some equipment, but due to circumstances I haven't been able to get to it yet. So I'm in England and it is very green, as you can see, and it's also very populated, so it's kind of hard to find somewhere to record that there aren't people walking around. And we are going around in a little van, and we haven't managed to go to Europe, which is actually the main plan to go to Europe, because when we first arrived we bought a van and then it has broken down, and it keeps breaking down, and we keep trying to find ways to fix it, or people to help fix it, or people to actually just fix it and that hasn't been working. So it's been this amazing lesson in flowing and pivoting and remembering that plans are only plans and they might not last. I actually said to my partner, it's been like a mandala, like where you make this beautiful thing all laid out in wonderful patterns and colors, and then the idea is to blow it away and let go. And our trip has been like that, both in terms of the plans, but also I've not done this slow travel thing before, and I wasn't sure I'd like it. I'm still not convinced for the long term. The jury's still out, but there is something a bit pretty cool about you. You kind of get attached to a place and you meet some really nice people, warm people. The places will be beautiful and full of wonderful and intriguing history and architecture, and then you drive away and it's gone and you move to somewhere else. Oh, and also the other thing that makes me get attached to places is when we find a really cool food source, like an awesome market or some local delicacies, then let it go and disappear and go somewhere where we don't even know where we're going to stay or if it's going to be any good or not. And there is something a little bit maybe zen something about not holding on that I think is good practice. Anyway, I want to talk in this video about Pluto in Aquarius, and this has been an exciting year and still is an exciting year because of course we've got Neptune and Saturn now newly moved into Aries as of the last couple of months, and all the planets apart from Pluto are going forward now. And in July we've got Uranus moving into Gemini. Very, very, very exciting. Really big moves, really big, powerful changes of 2025. But also, we recently had Pluto move into Aquarius, and it has been going back and forth for the last few years, but now it is well and truly properly in Aquarius, and it won't be leaving Aquarius for around 20 years. Okay, well, my partner and I keep thinking we've been having bad luck with this van that we bought, with it breaking down, and then I keep thinking, but what is bad luck? What is good luck? Sometimes the universe wants to take you here and there, but there have been some real down times, just times where it's just been so disappointing when we thought it was all fixed and then something else shows up, or we end up stuck in like there was one garage, we ended up living in that car park outside the garage with oil and rubbish around for 2 weeks. Anyway, it was okay though, because the people were friendly and we were fine, but it was not what we planned for our trip, and it's such a big investment to take that time off work and not be earning for this amount of time. It's a big deal. It's taken a lot of saving and so much planning, and for us not to be able to actually even get to Europe so far. Anyway, so disappointments, but it's felt like bad luck. Like I've been wondering what has plagued us. I know that last new moon, not the one just gone, but the one before, was right on my Saturn, and the last time that happened, I felt like I was dragging a chain with problems all month. So maybe it was that. But anyway, last week on Sunday, not the Sunday just gone, but the one before, we had to drive north in England to a town because the van wouldn't start, and we got some people to push start us, and we knew that we wouldn't be able to start again, so we had to drive through the night until we reached somewhere with parts. So we found a city, Shrewsbury, that had the right kind of parts store there, and we drove, and I was like frantically looking up campsites to stay at, and then I realized all the campsites were out of town and like 10 miles out of town, and we wouldn't have been able to walk to get these parts. And so I found this campsite in the middle of town, but it was full, so we weren't able to book it. And then my partner said, let's just show up and ask. And we showed up, and sure enough, it was an old showgrounds, and they had a space in Shrewsbury. Yeah, so it was called the West Mid Showgrounds Campsite. And we landed there, and what should happen but that very weekend they were holding a van life festival. It was so funny, like such synchronistic timing. And the people in the van life festival liked our sob story about the van, and they invited us to stay for the festival. And so all of a sudden we'd been going from problems and challenges and a disappointment, and then suddenly we're in the midst of a very warm, welcoming and fun environment. These people are going around setting up the festival, laughing away, just so relaxed and so flowing. And then by the weekend there were 2,000 or something camper vans, small, big, caravans, trucks, filling up this field, and it was so friendly and so welcoming. And I found it very like Pluto in Aquarius, because these are people who are choosing to live outside of the norm, outside of the normal scenario of renting or buying a house and being stuck with those very high bills and the cost of living that makes us work on that treadmill, working, and not much to spend, not much spending money left over at the end of that. And this group of people, this movement, this van life movement, they're trying to find another way. And I know there are arguments for and against this movement, like, for example, how can you collect taxes from people to pay for infrastructure, and there are questions about the environment with the motors. However, I did find that they were very lovely and they were very refreshing to be around, and I did like the subtle subversiveness of this movement and questioning society. And in some places they get quite a hard time, and they have to, play around with bureaucracy a lot, because bureaucracy doesn't like what they're doing. Anyway, I found the whole thing quite like Pluto in Aquarius. Pluto intensifies and brings focus and transforms, and Aquarius is about large groups, the masses, the common people, often being revolutionary and interrupting things and awakening and thinking of new ideas and spreading the ideas through networking and connections, multiple connections. It's a very devolved power base. And this festival was very like that. Nobody was a star. There were so many different stars actually, because there were workshops, music, there was so much. Festivals are like that anyway, but there was a very grassroots feeling about it, and so friendly. And that is an Aquarian thing. So because of that, I didn't know about this movement, even though we're living in this van. But I'm thinking about that in terms of Pluto and Aquarius. And I wonder what you've noticed in terms of maybe movements or large networks. We're certainly getting the technology changes that we're expecting with Pluto and Aquarius, with AI and everything, but it's also about power to the common people, to the masses. And I wonder if anyone else is noticing new ways of doing things arising out of big, large, networked movements like this. So there's a question to consider, and I'll say goodbye now from England. I hope I can carry on posting. I'll figure out a way, and I'll probably find a way to get more into the nitty-gritty of astrology, because week by week, because I am right out of touch and I need to get back into it. I'm missing it. I like to know what's going on in the sky. So I'll try and get up to date, and then talk about some of the more day-to-day stuff as well as the big stuff. Bye for now. Signing out from England. Bye.